our last episode, we continued Lake 1 of the Ha-Ha. We encountered dolphins, experienced night watches, and finally the big payoff, the beach party in Turtle Bay. Oh, and I caught a fish! In this episode, we continue Lake 2 of the Ha-Ha. We encounter some squally weather, a rainbow at sea, and partied up at Baja Santa Maria. But then, Tropical Storm Raymond threatens the fleet. Once we left Turtle Bay, the weather really started to suck. We're a slow-moving boat, so it's kind of hard to dodge the squalls. We didn't get hit as hard as some other boats who reported winds as high as 40 knots, but it wasn't exactly pleasant sailing either, and it was cold.
A rainy day in Mexico, and some people think it's hot and sunny in Mexico all the time. Well, I've been in hot weather gear since this thing started, and it's getting kind of cool with the rain now.
Fortunately, the bad weather did not last all day.
This is day 2 of Lake 2 of the Baja Ha-Ha, and we've had a very interesting afternoon. The wind has shifted a bit. We had just a nice run out earlier, and then we had some kind of a storm front came in where we had rain. The wind picked up, shifted a bit favorably for us. The seas got bigger. We had maybe 9-12 foot seas, and then it passed, and now we're sailing pretty close to our run line to our next port, which is Baja Santa Maria. There may be another front coming though. We see some dark clouds over there, and we hear reports from the other Ha-Has of high winds. But as you can see behind us, which is the direction of the wind, we also have clear skies. So hoping those clear skies are going to beat the storm and be the next thing we see. Anyway, we're having a good sail. Right now there's about 17 knots of wind. We're going 7 knots through the water, 5, 6 over ground. And again, a real close course to our run line, so we're making good time to the next port, which we should arrive at tomorrow, midday tomorrow.
While the rain and rough seas were not exactly pleasant, they did result in yet another truly magical Ha-Ha moment, a rainbow at sea.
The rainbow is kind of interesting because it looks almost vertical. It does have a slight curve, but it almost looks like a tornado rainbow.
Don't say tornado.
And, we hear reports from the fleet over in that direction that the wind and waves are very strong. So we'll see. My sense is that it's going away from us, and we're not going to get it. As the wind is coming over our starboard quarter. So I'd like to think we're not going to be affected by that. We'll see soon enough.
The rainbow finally dissipated, leaving us with the usual eye-popping sunset. We had one more night and one full day before we made it to our next stop, Baja Santa Maria. We're approaching Baja Santa Maria after a 3-day, 2-night passage that was definitely challenging. We had cold weather, rain, high seas, some pretty potent winds, and we are by far the last boat to arrive by many hours. It is about 4:15 in the afternoon, so we're going to be dropping anchor right around sunset. That was the key. That's why we have the motor on. We put the motor on for the last few miles because we just didn't want to be getting here and dropping anchor at night in the dark. So anyway, not a lot of sleep last couple of days, but we're almost there. And Bubba is pretty done with this passage too. He's like, get me some land. Well, we did not make it into the bay before dark, which meant we had to anchor in the complete blackness. And with the cloudy skies, there was no moon to guide us. I was not pleased.
I'd never anchored in the dark before, and I was terrified of running into another boat, especially with more than 100 boats all anchored there. But we did it, and now I've conquered yet another one of my fears. And now it's payoff time. We didn't bother launching our dinghy here, as it's really hard to get onto the beach. Most people rode in on pangas piloted by the local fishermen. And what an e-ticket ride that was! I would not have wanted to try that on our dinghy, that's for sure. There's not much to Bahia Santa Maria. It's really just a tiny fish camp with a few box-like shacks that the local fishermen stay in when they're here working. But the Ha-Ha has been coming here for more than 20 years, and they know how to transform it into the beach party to end all beach parties. And we were finally in the tropics! The bikinis came out, the tacos and cervezas were flowing, the fish was sizzling on the grills, and they even trucked in a band! We had a really great time at this party, and so did Bubba. And it's always amazing to see all the Ha-Ha boats filling up the bay.
Okay, we have the most amazing spectacle going on here. The moon rising, and to the right of it, there's this thunderstorm out to sea. I'm super glad we are not sailing, because if I was seeing that thunderstorm coming at us, I'd probably be freaking out a bit. But sitting here snug in our anchorage in Bahia Santa Maria and watching this, oh my God, what a spectacle.
For the last 20 years or so, the Baja Ha-Ha has had only 2 stops on the way down to Cabo San Lucas. This time, the Grand Poobah decided to add one more, an overnight at Manowar Cove in Bahia Magdalena, also known as Mag Bay. We had a warm, lovely sail in light seas down there. I tried throwing a fishing line out, but I had no luck. But others did.
Oh, yep, they got something. I see it bouncing off the back of the boat. I want to know what they got. Yeah, it's coming up.
The big event that night was a dinghy wrapped up on the back of the Grand Poobah's big catamaran, Profligate. This is where we learned that Jacques, the skipper of the boat Jacques Bateau, is completely fearless. Things were kind of mellow for a while, as some of the musicians in the fleet serenaded us. But then the sun went down. Some of us climbed on the back of the boat, and the real party began. Later that night, we started hearing about a weather system coming in from the south. We were hoping it would spin off to sea, but no such luck. A tropical storm that became known as Raymond was heading right for Cabo. This put the fleet in a real quandary. If the storm continued on its path and hit Cabo, the fleet would be safer staying in Mag Bay. But if it hit Mag Bay, we'd be safer in Cabo. In the end, each boat had to make their own decision. We decided to leave at sunrise the next morning and hightail it to Cabo, as we had a guaranteed slip in the marina. Some boats who didn't have slip reservations elected to stay in Mag Bay, while others sailed right on past Cabo to San Jose del Cabo. It was the first time in the 26-year history of the Ha-Ha that Leg 3 was basically canceled. Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment, but the Ha-Ha wasn't over yet. In our next episode, we make it to Cabo, and the Ha-Ha comes to an end. We celebrate at the famous Squid Row, but then Raymond hits Cabo with torrential rains and some pretty rough times in the marina.